This is a land of superlatives, a place where the maps seem to run out of paper and the human mind struggles to grasp the scale. We are talking about Siberia, the vast eastern heart of Russia. The name itself is thought to mean the sleeping land, and it is a giant sleeping. It's a colossal territory that stretches from the ancient Ural Mountains, the very backbone of Russia, all the way to the stormy, churning waters of the Pacific Ocean. But here's a fact to put that in perspective, a real wow factor. This single region covers roughly 5.1 million square miles. That's over 13 million square kilometers. It's bigger than the entire United States and all of Europe combined. It spans an incredible 11 time zones. When people in the West are just waking up, people in the Far East are ending their day. To put it mildly, it's a continent hidden inside a country. For most people, the name Siberia just means one thing: cold. It's a word synonymous with frigid isolation, with exile, with endless forests of pine and a frozen, empty desolation. And to be fair, those things are definitely here. The massive Siberian taiga, or forest, is the largest forest on Earth. It is a sea of green so vast, it's often called the lungs of the planet, bigger and some say more vital than the Amazon. Billions upon billions of trees, swallowing up carbon. But what many overlook is that Siberia is infinitely more complex. It is a world unto itself. This isn't just a flat, white emptiness. This land holds staggering natural wonders, some of the most extreme and beautiful on the planet. It has vast ancient lakes that hold a fifth of all the planet's fresh water. It has snow-capped mountain peaks that have never been climbed by humans. There are lush alpine meadows, rumbling volcanoes, and valleys filled with steaming geysers. Out on the far eastern edge, isolated islands are battered by Pacific storms. Glaciers shimmer under a sun that, in the far north, never sets. And in defiance of this brutal, punishing climate, life flourishes. This is not an empty land. The population density is in fact one of the lowest on Earth. There are fewer than 8 people per square mile, but those who are here are tough. Indigenous nomads herd thousands of reindeer across the frozen tundra, following ancient migration routes. Hunters track elusive prey, like the sable and the lynx, through forests that stretch for thousands of miles. And, most surprisingly of all, thriving urban centers exist. These are not just small outposts. These are modern cities of concrete and glass, with universities, theaters, and neon-lit streets. And they are all perched, miraculously, right on top of the permanently frozen ground. But one city, the capital of this ice kingdom, defies all logic. Of all the cities in Siberia, one stands out. Its name is Yakutsk. This is the largest and coldest major city on the entire planet. It is the capital of the Sakha Republic, a region within Russia that is itself almost the size of India. Here, the winter is not just a season. It is a physical presence. It is an alien environment. Temperatures in January regularly plunge to negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. That's negative 50 Celsius. On the record books, it seems completely unlivable. In the depths of winter, it can hit negative 76 degrees Fahrenheit. What does that feel like? To put it mildly, it's a shock to the system. Metal sticks to bare skin, tearing it off. Batteries die almost instantly. A simple breath is painful. Locals call the sound of breath freezing in the air the whisper of the stars. As the mercury collapses, Yakutsk wraps itself in a ghostly, choking fog. This isn't normal weather. It's called ice fog. It is the collected breath of the city. The exhaust from cars, the steam from power plants, and the very breathing of its 300,000 residents instantly freezes, hanging in the air. This dense, eerie veil can reduce visibility to just a few feet. The sun, when it appears, lingers low on the horizon, offering a weak, pale light but almost no warmth. Yet nearly 300,000 people endure here. They have built a life. They have created a thriving modern city in a place that seems actively hostile to human existence. How do they do it? Resilience. And you see some very, very clever engineering. The entire city is built on permafrost. This is the single biggest challenge. Permafrost isn't just frozen ground, it's eternal frost, a layer of ice, soil, and rock that has been frozen solid for thousands of years. In this region, it can go down 5,000 feet. It is as hard as concrete. But here's the catch. If you build a warm building on it, the heat melts the ice and the foundation turns to a sinking, unstable swamp. The solution? Almost every single building in Yakutsk, from the old Soviet-era apartment blocks to the shiny new glass towers, stands on massive concrete stilts. These pillars are driven 30 to 50 feet deep, past the active layer. The top part that thaws in summer and anchored into the deep, solid permafrost. This creates a crucial gap, lifting the city above the ice. Cold air circulates underneath, keeping the permafrost frozen and the city standing. For a tourist, arriving here is an education. Local guides will tell you, don't wear glasses with metal frames. They will freeze to your face. Cars are left running 24/7. If you turn an engine off, the oil will freeze, the rubber will crack, and the car simply will not start again until spring. The local Rhinoc, or market, is a sight to be seen. In the open air, at -40 Fahrenheit, merchants stand, bundled so only their eyes are visible. They sell rock-solid frozen fish like pike and omul. The fish are stacked like firewood. There are no freezers. None are needed. The entire city is a freezer. The local delicacy is stroganina, paper-thin slices of this raw, frozen fish eaten with salt and pepper. For visitors, the Kingdom of Permafrost is a must-see. It's a massive tourist complex. A former mine carved into an ice hill with glittering ice sculptures, an ice bar where drinks are served in ice glasses, and even an ice throne. It is a celebration of the very thing that defines their lives, the cold. But as extreme as Yakutsk is, it's not the coldest, not by a long shot. Yakutsk may be the coldest city, but it pales in comparison to the true pole of cold. This is the small, isolated village of Oymyakon. The name, ironically, means non-freezing water, a name given because of a single thermal spring nearby that reindeer used to visit. Here, temperatures have officially plummeted to -96.2 degrees Fahrenheit. That's -71.2 Celsius. This is the lowest temperature ever recorded in an inhabited place on Earth. It is the very definition of extreme. Why is it so cold? Oymyakon is nestled in a valley, and that's the problem. It is a frost pocket. In winter, the heavy, super-chilled air from the surrounding mountains flows down into the valley and pools at the bottom. The cold simply cannot escape. Fewer than 1,000 residents live here. Generations have adapted, turning this lethal extremity into an everyday routine. Life is built around the cold. There is no indoor plumbing. The ground is too frozen to dig, and the pipes would freeze and burst. Outhouses are a quick, chilling dash into the frigid air. Locals burn wood and coal 24/7 just to keep their homes from freezing solid. Pens freeze. Batteries are useless. Cars are kept in heated garages or left running all day. How does a tourist even get here? It's an adventure in itself. It's a grueling 2-day drive from Yakutsk, much of it on the infamous Kolyma highway. Visitors who make the trek can get an official certificate from the Pole of Cold, a bizarre and proud souvenir. They can visit the local monument, take part in the ice fishing, and see what is perhaps the hardiest breed of horse on Earth, the Yakutian horse, which can survive outside in this cold. And yet this land of unbearable cold holds one of the world's most valuable treasures. Beneath this icy realm lie riches. We're talking about diamonds. The region, known as Yakutia, is the diamond heart of Siberia. Not far away is the town of Mirny, a city that exists for one reason. It teeters on the edge of a colossal man-made pit. This is the Mir Diamond Mine. It is one of the largest excavated holes on Earth. It's a terrifying, dizzying spiral, plunging 1,722 feet deep and measuring over 3/4 of a mile wide. This hole is so enormous that the airspace above it is restricted. The reason? The massive temperature differential between the frigid air at the rim and the relatively warmer air deep in the pit creates a dangerous vortex, a downdraft that can, reportedly, cause helicopters to lose control. For decades, gems from this single pit adorned jewelry in shops from Paris to New York. By the year 2001, the surface mining operations stopped. It became too deep, too difficult. The digging has now shifted underground, leaving this vast, gaping scar on the face of the planet. Yakutsk itself sits on the banks of another giant, the Lena River. This is a vital artery for Siberia, a frozen highway in winter. And downstream, nature has carved its own masterpiece. These are the Lena Pillars. They are a forest of towering limestone spires, sculpted by wind and water over 500 million years. Some of them soar over 600 feet into the air. They look like the ruins of some ancient, giant metropolis, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They chronicle the planet's history. For tourists, a river cruise from Yakutsk in the summer is the only way to see them, a multi-day journey into a prehistoric world. But to reach these wonders, you must travel a road of shadows, a road of ghosts. In Siberia, roads are scarce. The sheer scale and brutal terrain make construction almost impossible. But one road cuts through the emptiness. It is the R504, the Kolyma Highway. It stretches for over 1,200 miles, a ribbon of gravel, mud, and broken asphalt, connecting Yakutsk to the port of Magadan. But the locals know it by another, grimmer name, the Road of Bones. The reason for this name is a dark, horrific chapter in the nation's history. This highway was built by the prisoners of the Gulag system under the brutal rule of Joseph Stalin. The Kolyma region was the worst of the worst, an icy prison continent. Hundreds of thousands of men, political prisoners and common criminals alike, were forced into labor in the most brutal conditions imaginable. Thousands upon thousands of them didn't survive. They were lost to the cold, the starvation, the back-breaking work, and the cruelty of the guards. The thing nobody tells you, the legend that gives the road its name, is that their bodies were often left where they fell. Their final resting places are rumored to be embedded directly into the foundation of the road itself. The highway is quite literally a monument to their suffering. Some estimates claim hundreds of thousands of lives were lost in the Kolyma camps, all to build this road and mine for gold. Driving it today is an eerie, chilling experience. It is still treacherous. In summer, it's a sea of mud. In winter, it's a slick sheet of ice. Settlements flicker along its path. Some are vibrant, but many are spectral. The town of Kadikchan is a perfect example. It was born in the 1940s, built by Gulag prisoners to mine coal. It once housed 10,000 people. But after the collapse of the Soviet Union and a tragic mine explosion in 1996, the town was deemed unprofitable. The government cut the heat and water in the middle of winter, forcing everyone to evacuate. Today, it is a ghost town. Buildings stand empty, their contents frozen in time. Schools with books still on the desks, apartment buildings with furniture, dolls left behind in cribs. It is a chilling memorial to a life that vanished overnight. The highway ends at Magadan, This is a port on the bleak grey sea of Okhotsk. During the Stalinist era, this was the gateway to hell. Ships like the infamous SS Jurma were packed with prisoners, arriving here after a terrifying voyage. From Magadan, they were marched to camps across the Kolyma region. Overlooking the city, a haunting monument was erected in the 1990s. It is called the Mask of Sorrow. Designed by the artist Ernst Neizvestny, whose own parents were victims of the purges, it's an abstract concrete face, weeping stone tears. Inside the hollow mask is a replica of a cold prison cell. It somberly honors the countless victims. For dark tourists who brave this road, it is a journey into a past that is still in many ways present. Beyond this road, the continent stretches to its final frozen edge. If you go beyond the Road of Bones, you reach Siberia's ultimate frontier, Chukotka. This is a harsh, windswept, autonomous region, a tundra where winter dominates most of the year. The summers are fleeting, a brief boggy thaw before the ice returns. The old Soviet ambitions to extract tin and gold left behind a trail of abandoned settlements. You can find whole towns of rusting barracks and processing plants, left to the elements, swallowed by the profound isolation. This land is defined by its distance. It is closer to Anchorage, Alaska, than it is to Moscow. The Bering Strait, at its narrowest point, is only 55 miles wide, separating Russia from the United States. This is the home of the Chukchi people, a resilient indigenous group of traditional reindeer herders and sea mammal hunters. The capital is Anadyr. It's a surreal sight. The city tries to defy the grey, treeless emptiness with vibrant, brightly colored apartment blocks. The buildings are painted in jarring reds, blues, and yellows. This was a deliberate project by a former governor, the famous oligarch Roman Abramovich, to combat the seasonal depression that comes with the long, dark polar night. Life here is dictated by isolation. All supplies must be airlifted in or brought by ship, making the cost of living soar. A simple carton of milk can cost a fortune. Chukotka also holds the ultimate edge of the continent. Here, you find Pevek, Russia's northernmost city. It once had a population of 25,000 people. Today, fewer than 5,000 remain. It serves as a lonely, frozen port on the northern sea route. But here's the catch: things are changing fast. As the Arctic ice retreats due to climate change, this shipping lane is becoming a massive strategic prize. What many overlooked is that this is sparking a new kind of gold rush. The Northern Sea Route, NSR, dramatically shortens the voyage between Europe and Asia. It can cut shipping times by as much as 40% compared to the route through the Suez Canal. Russia is investing billions of dollars in this. Pevek's port is being revitalized. Tankers and massive nuclear-powered icebreakers are now regulars in its harbor, and in a wow-factor move, Pevek is now home to the academic Lomonosov. This is the world's first floating nuclear power plant, a controversial barge designed to power the port and the remote mining operations. This frozen, forgotten frontier is suddenly at the center of a new geopolitical game, but Siberia's eastern edge isn't just ice, it's also a land of fire. The flat, frozen tundra of the north gives way to a dramatic, jagged landscape of towering mountains in Kamchatka. This 780-mile-long peninsula is a different kind of Siberia. It sits directly on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a tectonic collision zone. To put it mildly, this land is alive. It is a land of fire and ice. Kamchatka boasts over 300 volcanoes. Of those, 29 are still active. The most famous is Klyuchevskaya Sopka. It is a perfect, symmetrical, snow-capped cone rising to 15,584 feet. It is the highest active volcano in Eurasia. It has erupted dozens of times in recent history, hurling massive plumes of ash miles into the sky, a constant reminder of the power simmering just beneath the surface. Deep within this volcanic landscape is a place that looks like another planet. This is the Valley of Geysers. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a deep, steaming canyon filled with over 90 geysers and hundreds of hot springs. It was only discovered in 1941. It is the second largest geothermal field on Earth. It's a symphony of boiling jets of water, steaming mud pots, and scalding springs, all shrouded in a sulfurous mist. Access is only by helicopter, a costly but unforgettable trip. The region's main city, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, is nestled in the stunning Avacha Bay. It's one of the oldest towns in the Russian Far East. The bay itself is a perfect natural harbor, so large the entire Russian Pacific Fleet could fit inside. It is ringed by 3 volcanoes. The home volcanoes, which provide a dramatic backdrop to the busy harbor. The port is alive with fishing fleets and surprisingly massive Stellar's sea lions that haul themselves onto the old docks, barking and sunning themselves. The rivers here are thick with life. This is a salmon paradise. All 6 species of Pacific salmon run in these rivers, clogging the waterways as they return to spawn. This, in turn, provides a feast for the other local celebrity, the Kamchatka brown bear. These giants, some of the largest in the world, gather on the riverbanks. There are an estimated 20,000 bears on the peninsula, one of the densest populations anywhere. For the adventurous tourist, this is paradise. It's a major hub for adventure travel. Visitors can go heli-skiing on the volcano slopes, climb the volcanoes in the summer, or take helicopter tours over the geysers. Local operators offer some of the best salmon fishing in the world. And boat trips in Avacha Bay offer chances to see orcas and puffins. It's a raw, untamed and primal wilderness, and from here, a chain of fiery, contested islands stretches toward Japan. The Kamchatka Peninsula fragments into the Kuril Islands. This is a chain of 56 main volcanic islands stretching over 800 miles in a misty, stormy arc all the way to Japan. This is a land of tectonic collisions. Smoking peaks rise directly from the sea. On the island of Iturup, the Atsunupuri volcano's caldera cradles a perfect cone-shaped lake, which itself has a small new cone growing in its center. It's a landscape that defies belief. On Paramushir Island, the Ebeko volcano simmers constantly, dusting the nearby town with ash. But here's the catch. These islands are at the heart of a massive political dispute. Japan still claims the southern 4 islands, which it calls the Northern Territories. The Soviet Union took them in the final days of World War II. This single dispute has prevented Russia and Japan from ever signing a formal peace treaty. This foggy, remote chain of volcanoes is a major geopolitical flashpoint. Further west lies Sakhalin Island. It's a long, thin island, stretching 621 miles north to south, separating the Sea of Okhotsk from the Sea of Japan. This land has also been a contested prize, fought over by Russia and Japan for centuries. It was once a notorious penal colony, a katorga under the Tsars. The famous writer Anton Chekhov visited in 1890 and wrote a grim report on the terrible conditions. After World War II, it became fully Soviet. The main city, Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk, is a fascinating blend of Soviet grid planning and subtle Japanese architectural echoes. You can find Russian, Korean, and Japanese food on the same street, a legacy of its complicated history. But the island's modern story is all about resources. It's a massive oil and gas hub. Projects like Sakhalin-1 and Sakhalin-2 are some of the largest, most complex energy projects in the world, with giant offshore platforms drilling for black gold in the icy seas. For the traveler, the island's most haunting landmark is on its southernmost tip. This is the Aniva Lighthouse. It was built by the Japanese in 1939, a marvel of engineering. It's a 100-foot-tall concrete tower perched on a desolate, storm-lashed rock. It was later automated and then, finally, abandoned. Today, it stands as a decaying, rusted sentinel, a favorite spot for dark tourists who visit by boat to explore the ghostly, crumbling interior. It is a lonely monument to the world's edge. Back on the mainland, one city serves as Russia's grand, ambitious Pacific portal. We arrive in Vladivostok. This is Russia's Pacific portal, a city whose name literally means "rule the East." It's a place of massive strategic importance, the headquarters of the Russian Pacific Fleet. Geographically, it is a world away from Europe. It is in fact located closer to Tokyo, Seoul, and Beijing than it is to Moscow. Founded in 1860, it served as the anchor for Russia's imperial reach in the east. During the Soviet era, it was a closed city, completely off-limits to outsiders and most Soviet citizens. It only opened to the world in 1992. Today, it is thriving. It has a swagger, a unique energy. The skyline is dominated by the Russky Bridge. This is the world's longest cable-stayed bridge, a massive 10,000-foot-long statement of intent, linking the city to Russky Island, which now hosts a major university. The bridge was built for the 2012 APEC summit, a symbol of Russia's pivot to Asia. The city is full of contradictions. It has grand European facades clinging to steep hills, giving it a vibe similar to San Francisco. But the feel is distinctly Asian. The city is flooded with tourists and trade from Korea, China, and Japan. Visitors flock to its waterfront promenades, ride the historic funicular, visit the S-56 submarine museum on the harbor, and most of all, eat. The restaurants here serve the famous Kamchatka crab, a massive, spidery delicacy that is a must-try for any tourist. The nearby coast is stunning. It plunges directly into the Pacific, with pine trees gripping sheer cliffs as waves crash on granite beaches. And here is a real wow factor. In summer, the region has surprisingly warm, pale sands and clear waters. The ocean can warm up to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. These are tropical whispers in the heart of Siberia. But just inland in the Ussuri taiga forest lives one of the planet's most magnificent and endangered creatures. This is the home of the Amur tiger. Fewer than 600 of these giants are left in the wild, and even rarer, this is also home to the Amur leopard. This is the rarest big cat on Earth. For years, its population hovered at a desperate 30 or 40 individuals. But thanks to a massive conservation effort centered in the land of the Leopard National Park, which is just a short drive from the city, the population has rebounded to over 100. It is a rare and precious good news story. And this city is the final grand stop on the world's most famous railway. Vladivostok is the end of the line. Or, for many, the beginning. This is the terminus of the Trans-Siberian Railway. This is, to put it mildly, the journey of a lifetime. It is a ribbon of steel, 5,772 miles long. It crosses 7 time zones, connecting Moscow to the Pacific. Built between 1891 and 1916, it was an enormous feat of engineering accomplished through brutal, back-breaking toil, all to bind a continent. A ride on this train is a one-week odyssey. It is not a luxury train, though luxury options exist. It is a vital, living artery. For tourists, it offers a hypnotic view of the sheer scale of the country. You can book a first-class cabin, a 2-berth Spalny wagon, a second-class, a 4-berth coupe, or for the real experience, a third-class Platzkart. This is an open-plan dormitory on wheels, a place where you share food, stories, and vodka with locals. Life on the train settles into a rhythm. It's defined by the provodnitsa, the female carriage attendant who is the firm but fair ruler of the car. It's defined by the samovar, the giant hot water boiler at the end of the carriage, providing endless free water for tea and instant noodles. And it's defined by the long stops, sometimes 30 minutes, where you can dash onto the platform. Here, babushkas, grandmothers, sell local, homemade food, smoked omul fish near Baikal, pirozhki, stuffed buns, and wild berries. It is a window on the soul of Russia, clicking and clacking through endless birch forests and tiny wooden villages. But the railway also passes near one of Siberia's strangest, most baffling wonders. Northward, in the Zabaikalsky Krai, lie the Chara Sands. This is a true desert, not a metaphorical one. An actual 10-square-mile patch of massive, rippling sand dunes. Some are nearly 100 feet tall. And here's the wow factor. It is completely trapped between snow-capped peaks, the Kodar Mountains, and the taiga forest. It is an Arctic desert. How did it get there? It's a geological mystery. Likely the remnant of an ancient, dried-up lakebed, sculpted by wind. It is incredibly difficult to get to, making it one of Earth's most remote and surreal landscapes. As the train heads west, it enters a land of deep, ancient spirituality. Westward, the landscape changes. The train rolls into the Republic of Buryatia. Here, the golden domes of Russian Orthodox churches stand near the colorful, flapping prayer flags of Buddhist temples. This is the center of Russian Buddhism. Datsans, or monasteries like the Ivolginsky Datsan, are hubs of spiritual life. This monastery was founded in 1945, a surprising allowance after years of Stalinist repression. Prayer flags flutter in the wind, and monks spin wheels inscribed with mantras. In the capital, Ulan-Ude, a bizarre Soviet legacy remains. The main square is dominated by a giant, 26-foot-tall bronze head of Vladimir Lenin. It weighs 19 tons and is a famous, if strange, landmark, a popular spot for photos. But this region's true soul is not made of stone, it's made of water. We are talking about Lake Baikal. This is Siberia's icon, the Pearl of Siberia. It is a lake of staggering statistics. It is the deepest freshwater lake on Earth, plunging down 5,387 feet, over a mile deep. It is also the oldest, at an estimated 25 million years old. And it is the clearest. On a good day, you can see 130 feet down into its blue-green depths. The reason? Millions of tiny endemic shrimp called episcura that act as a living filter. But here's the most mind-bending fact. This single lake holds 20% of the entire world's unfrozen fresh water. That is more water than all of the North American Great Lakes combined. In winter, it becomes a natural spectacle. This is a huge tourist draw. The ice freezes up to 6 feet thick. It's so clear and strong that it becomes an official ice road. People drive cars and trucks across it. The ice cracks with a sound like thunder, creating massive turquoise-colored hummocks. Caves on the shore drip and freeze, forming crystalline cathedrals of ice. It's also home to the Nerpa, the Baikal seal. It is one of the only freshwater seals in the world, an evolutionary enigma. How did it get here? The lake is 1,000 miles from the nearest ocean. The leading theory is that they swam up a river system during the last ice age and became trapped. The largest island in the lake, Olkhon Island, is 43 miles long. It's a place of raw, windswept beauty. Its most sacred spot is Cape Birken, or Shaman's Rock, a two-pronged marble cliff. This is one of the 9 holy places of Asia. It is the center of shamanism, and pilgrims come from all over to feel its raw, spiritual energy. For tourists, Olkhon offers guest houses, hiking, and a taste of the shaman's sea. Further north, life becomes even more extreme, a return to the ice. We travel far north to the Yamal Peninsula. The name, in the local language, means end of the land, and it feels like it. This is a flat, treeless Arctic tundra that juts into the frozen Kara Sea. Here, the winter freezes the land to negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit, and the sun disappears completely for months during the polar night. Yet this is not an empty land. This is the home of the Nenets nomads. These are, to put it mildly, some of the most resilient people on Earth. They are reindeer herders, and the reindeer is their entire life. It is their food, their clothing, their transportation, and the covering for their homes. They migrate for hundreds of miles every year, following their massive herds of thousands of reindeer on ancient routes. They live in chums, conical tents made of reindeer hide stretched over a wooden frame. The chum is a marvel of engineering. It's warm in the brutal winter and cool in the brief mosquito-filled summer. The women are responsible for building and tearing down the chum, a process that can take less than an hour before the entire family packs up their sledges and moves on. This is a life forged by ancestral wisdom, but here's the catch. This traditional world is colliding violently with the modern one. What many overlooked for years is that the Yamal Peninsula sits on top of one of the world's largest natural gas reserves. It holds an estimated 20% of all of Russia's gas. The oil and gas boom has brought pipelines, roads, drilling rigs, and entire new towns like the massive gas port of Siberia. This industrial infrastructure cuts directly across the Nenets' ancient migration routes. Polluting the fragile tundra and threatening their herds. It is a classic and tragic tradition versus modernity story. Not far away, you find the city of Khanty-Mansiysk. This is an oil boom town. A strange, surreal blend of frontier life and sudden, spectacular luxury. It is the oil capital. You can see neon-lit streets, stunning modern architecture, and even a massive, futuristic chess academy. The city hosts World Biathlon Championships. It's a bizarre bubble of high-tech wealth. All funded by the black gold existing right in the middle of the primeval taiga, where indigenous Khanty people still hunt elk. Siberia shatters stereotypes. It's not just taiga and tundra, it's a lost world. Locked deep in the Arctic Circle, far from any road, is the Putorana Plateau. This is a vast, elevated expanse of basalt mesas, or flat-topped mountains. It's a landscape cut by deep canyons, holding an estimated 10,000 lakes and over 1,000 waterfalls. It's a volcanic legacy from a massive supervolcano eruption 250 million years ago. This place is a UNESCO World Heritage Site called the Land of Lakes with Steep Banks. It is almost impossible to get to. There are no roads. Access is only by helicopter or a very long, difficult boat journey. This is precisely why it remains one of the most pristine, untouched wildernesses on the planet. The scale of the waterfalls is immense, including the Talnikovi waterfall, which is believed to be one of the highest in all of Asia. Further south, in the Altai Mountains, is Ergaki Park. This is far more accessible, and people call it Siberia's Yosemite. It's a stunning, magical landscape of sheer granite walls, over 600 pristine alpine lakes and deep glacial valleys. Its most famous feature is the Sleeping Cyan, a long mountain ridge that looks exactly like a giant man lying on his back. Another is the Parabola, a perfect symmetric arch of rock rising to 7,200 feet. And then there is the Hanging Stone, a massive multi-ton boulder that teeters precariously on the edge of a cliff. Local legend says if that stone ever falls, the world will end. Near the major city of Krasnoyarsk, another natural wonder rises from the forest. This is the Stolby National Park. Stolby means pillars. These are dramatic towers of pinkish syenite rock, some soaring 328 feet tall. They are the 450 million-year-old remnants of ancient volcanic intrusions, weathered into bizarre shapes. This park is the locals' park. It has forged a unique local subculture of climbers called Stolbists. This movement is over 150 years old, a form of acrobatic free climbing, often done without ropes. The climbers have names for all the pillars: the grandfather, the feathers, the lion's gate. It's a unique blend of nature and a passionate local community. But the greatest, most spectacular mountains of all lie on the southern border. Southward, the Altai Mountains soar. This is where the tectonic plates of Siberia and India are colliding, birthing a massive range of snow-capped ridges. This is the Golden Mountains of Altai, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is Siberia's showpiece. A single road, the Chuya Highway, winds its way for 373 miles to the Mongolian border. It's an ancient road, once part of the Northern Silk Road, a path for traders and armies. Today, it is a paved, modern highway, and it is, to put it mildly, one of the most beautiful road trips on Earth. It reveals deep canyons, lush river valleys, and eternal snow-covered peaks. The highway is a gateway to countless wonders. Here, the Aktru Glacier groans, a river of ice moving eternally. Nearby, you find the Geyser Lake. It's not a real geyser, but a thermal spring that bubbles up from the lake bed. These springs create stunning, concentric circles of blue and green silt, making the lake look like a psychedelic eye. It is a photographer's dream. A steep, winding series of switchbacks on the Katu-Yarek Pass, a road carved into a cliff, drops you into the dramatic Chulishman Valley. Here, in a place called Akurum, you find the stone mushrooms. These are bizarre geological formations, or hoodoos. They are 49-foot-tall pillars of rock capped with a harder mushroom cap of stone that are slowly eroding. They are a defiant temporary art. Nearby, Teletskoye Lake is 50 miles long and over 1,000 feet deep, a place of mythic, cold depths. And towering over it all is Beluka Mountain. At 14,783 feet, it is Siberia's highest peak. But it's not just a mountain, it's sacred. Local Altai shamans believe it is the gateway to the hidden mythical kingdom of Shambhala. It has become a major center for New Age spiritual tourism, attracting people from all over the world. But then, the Altai landscape flips. You arrive in Kizilchin, nicknamed Mars. This is a landscape of multi-hued clays, vibrant red, orange, yellow, and purple. The colors are not paint. They are iron oxides and other minerals in the rock, telling a 300-million-year-old geological story. You can literally walk through time. And just when you think you've seen it all, you find Berlinsky Lake. In the summer, this salt lake blushes a bright bubblegum pink. The wow factor color comes from a tiny, salt-loving brine shrimp, the Artemia salina. Narrow-gauge train tracks, built in the 1940s, run right into the pink water, hauling carts of harvested salt. It is a surreal, beautiful, and industrial landscape all at once. But Siberia is not just nature. It is also a land of deep and often dark history. The Russian conquest of Siberia, which began in the late 1500, was built on a network of forts that grew into cities. Tobolsk is the father of Siberian cities. Founded in 1587, it was the first Russian capital of Siberia. It's a beautiful city, split by the Irtysh River. On the high hill, a magnificent stone Kremlin stands. This is the only stone Kremlin in all of Russia outside of the Central European part. For centuries, this was the political, religious, and economic center of the entire territory. But it also has a somber history as a hub of exile. It was a holding place for the Decembrists, aristocratic rebels in the 1820, and later it was the first stop for the last royal family. Tsar Nicholas II and the Romanovs, after their arrest, before they were moved to their final fateful destination. Novosibirsk is the opposite. It is the new city. It was born in 1893. It has no ancient history. It was created for a single practical reason. It was the chosen spot for the new Trans-Siberian Railway to cross the mighty Ob River. Because of this, it exploded. Today, it is Siberia's largest city, with 1.6 million people. It is a massive nexus of science, industry, and transport. It is home to Akademgorodok, or Academy Town. This is a silicon forest, a massive scientific research center built by the Soviets in the taiga, and it remains a major hub for innovation. It also boasts the largest opera and ballet theater in all of Russia. And then there is Yekaterinburg. Founded in 1723, it is the gateway. It sits in the Ural Mountains on the official border between Europe and Asia. It is Russia's fourth largest city, a dynamic blend of pre-revolutionary merchant houses and towering glass skyscrapers. There are monuments all over, where tourists can stand with one foot in Europe and one foot in Asia. But it is also, famously, the site of a dark historical turning point. It was here, in the basement of a house in 1918, that the last Tsar, Nicholas II, his wife and his 5 children were dispatched. Their tragic end marked the final bloody stop for the Romanov dynasty. Today, the massive golden domed church on Blood stands on that very spot. It is a major pilgrimage site, a place of somber remembrance, but these Russian cities are new. The true soul of Siberia lies with its original people. Siberia's demographics are a story of migration. About 85% of the population is Slavic, mainly Russians who arrived in waves over the last 400 years. But the indigenous groups, though small in number, are the ones who enrich this cultural mosaic. There are over 40 distinct ethnicities with their own languages, customs, and beliefs. The Yakuts, or Saka, are the largest group, at nearly 500,000 people. They are a Turkic people, and their culture is centered on the horse. They have the Isyak festival, a massive, joyous summer solstice celebration. It's a pagan-influenced festival of rebirth with national sports, dancing, and the ritual drinking of kumis, fermented mare's milk. The Buryats, who are Mongolic, live in the lands surrounding Lake Baikal. Their spirituality is a fascinating blend of ancient shamanism and Tibetan Buddhism. They are a proud people struggling to preserve their language and traditions. The Evenks are the original reindeer herders. They are a Tungusic people, spread all across Siberia. They are the true masters of the taiga, a people who can read the forest like a book. And in the far, far east, there are the Chukchi. They are a Paleo-Siberian people known for their toughness and resilience. They have a saying, a Chukchi is not a man, a Chukchi is a Chukchi. They are divided into two groups. The tundra people, who herd reindeer, and the sea people, who are master hunters of whales, walruses, and seals. But here's the catch. These ancient cultures are under massive threat. Centuries of Russification and Soviet policy forced many into settled lifestyles. And their languages are fading. And now, a new threat, climate change. The melting permafrost is changing their hunting grounds. The migration routes are shifting. The very land they have known for millennia is becoming unstable beneath their feet. Their survival here, in this extreme land, has given rise to some of history's strangest tales. Siberia is a land of deep, dark mystery. Its sheer emptiness has been a perfect stage for the bizarre. In 1908, the Tunguska event occurred. In a remote, uninhabited part of the taiga, a massive fiery blast, estimated at 10 to 15 megatons, 1,000 times the power of the Hiroshima bomb, flattened over 770 square miles of forest. It flattened 80 million trees, all fanning out from a central point. But here's the wow factor. No crater was ever found. The leading theory is a meteor or comet exploded in the atmosphere, but the mystery endures. Then there is the story of the Lykov family. They were Old Believers, a religious group who fled Stalin's persecutions in the 1930s, vanishing deep into the taiga. They lived in complete isolation for 40 years. They had no metal, no modern tools, and spoke an archaic Russian. They were unaware of World War II. They were unaware of the moon landing. They were only discovered by accident by a team of geologists in 1978. The father refused to believe men had walked on the moon. The last daughter, Agafia, still lives there alone, for the most part a woman out of time. In 1959, the Dyatlov Pass incident occurred. This is a massive, dark internet mystery. Nine experienced hikers perished bizarrely in the Ural Mountains. Their tent was found cut open from the inside. The bodies were found scattered, far from the camp. Some were without proper clothes in negative 20-degree weather. Some had bizarre, massive internal injuries with no external signs of a struggle. Theories range from an avalanche to secret military tests to infrasound-induced panic or even a Yeti. The avalanche theory is the most recent official explanation, but many people are not convinced. In 1993, archaeologists found the Ukok princess. She is a 2,500-year-old mummy, a noblewoman of the Pazyryk people. She was perfectly preserved in the permafrost, her skin covered in intricate, beautiful tattoos of deer and mythical creatures. She was buried with 6 horses. But here's the controversy. Local Altai people believe she was a shaman, a guardian. They believe her removal from her tomb has caused a spiritual imbalance, and they have blamed her for earthquakes and floods in the region. And now, a new mystery, the Yamal craters. In the last decade, giant, perfectly round craters have begun appearing in the tundra. Some are 100 feet deep. They are, scientists believe, methane bombs. The permafrost thaws, releasing massive bubbles of trapped gas which build up pressure and explode, leaving a terrifying, gaping hole. It is a dramatic and very loud sign of a warming planet. To survive in this land of cold and mystery, the people developed a unique and hearty way of eating. Siberian cuisine is, to put it mildly, hearty. It is not subtle. It is cuisine based on survival, on high-calorie foods, and on what the taiga and rivers provide. The most famous dish is pelmeni. These are the Siberian ravioli, small dumplings stuffed with a mix of meats, often beef and pork. The word means ear bread. In the old days, families would spend days making thousands of them. They would then be stored outside in a sack in the snow for the entire winter, a perfect frozen, ready-to-boil meal. The true Arctic delicacy found in Yakutia is stroganina. This is a shock to the system for most tourists. It is raw, frozen fish like omul or sturgeon, or sometimes reindeer meat. It is shaved into thin, paper-like curls. These curls are then eaten frozen. They are dipped in a simple mix, or makalo, of salt and pepper. It's a burst of cold, fatty energy. Around Lake Baikal, the omul fish is king. It is a species of salmonoid found only in Baikal. Locals eat it smoked, salted and raw as zagutai, a Siberian ceviche. But here's the catch. The omul is now endangered due to overfishing and climate change, and fishing for it has been severely restricted. Soups are essential. You'll find borscht, beet soup, shchi, cabbage soup, and solyanka, a thick, meaty and sour soup. But the fisherman's soup is uka. The secret, locals will tell you, is to add a shot of vodka to the pot right at the end. The taiga is a massive wild pantry. Pine nuts are a huge industry. People go to the taiga for weeks to live in camps and harvest the cones. And the berries are everywhere. Cloudberries, cranberries, and most prized, lingonberries. These are made into mors, a sweet, refreshing berry drink. And then there are the drinks. Kumis, the fermented mare's milk, is a tangy, slightly alcoholic drink of the Buryats and Yakuts. And of course, there is vodka. In Siberia, it's not just a drink, it's a social tool, a currency in remote villages, and for better or worse, a dangerous way to stay warm and get through the long, dark winter. And to survive that winter, the clothing is just as specialized as the food. Clothing in Siberia is not about fashion, it is about life and survival. The traditional clothing, developed over millennia, is far more effective than any modern synthetic gear. The Nenets people are the masters of this. They wear the yagushka for women and the malitsa for men. These are massive hooded parkas made of dozens of reindeer skins. The wow factor is in the design. They are double layered, with one layer of fur facing inward against the body and a second layer of fur facing outward against the elements. A Nenets dressed in this can survive a blizzard at -50 degrees, completely exposed. The Yakuts, living in the pole of cold, have a similar system. They have two sets of clothes. A lighter set for the mild cold, around -20 Fahrenheit, and a heavy-duty set for the deep winter, -50 and below. This includes torbasa, thigh-high reindeer skin boots with felt liners, and massive ornate fur hats. In the Far East, the Chukchi and other coastal people use seal and walrus skin. This has a key advantage. It is almost completely waterproof. This is essential for men hunting in kayaks on the frigid, stormy Arctic Ocean. And this isn't just about function, it's art. The craftsmanship is unbelievable. The women, in the darkness of the polar night, decorate this clothing with intricate beadwork, embroidery, and mosaic patterns made of different colored furs. Each pattern tells a story, a sign of their family and their tribe. This is a land of cold, a land of negative 96-degree winters. But here's the final, terrifying paradox. Siberia is also a hotspot for global warming. The land of eternal cold is warming at twice the rate of the rest of the planet. In 2020, a heat wave saw the town of Verkhoyansk, another pole of cold, hit an unbelievable 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. This shattered all-time records for the Arctic. This warming is unleashing a catastrophe. The permafrost is melting. This is not a slow, gentle thaw. It is causing buildings in cities like Yakutsk to collapse as their foundations sink. It is causing roads to buckle. It is causing the drunken forest as trees topple over in the destabilized ground. And most terrifyingly, it is releasing that methane, a greenhouse gas 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. The sleeping land is waking up, and it is breathing fire. We have only scratched the surface of this frozen titan. Siberia remains one of the last true wildernesses, a place that guards its secrets well. But as the ice melts, it's revealing both treasures and new dangers. The grand story of Siberia is one of extremes. It's a narrative of impossible cold, of vast distances, and of a dark, haunting history. But the real story, the one that defines this sleeping land, is found in the details. It's in the struggle for survival, the quest for comfort, and the strange, beautiful cultures that bloom in the most isolated corners of the earth. This is not just a land of ice and emptiness. This is a land of hidden luxuries, of ancient arts, and of flavors you cannot find anywhere else on the planet. We have explored Oymyakon, the village that holds the terrifying record for the planet's coldest inhabited place. But the thing nobody tells you is that there is a rival, a contender for the title. This is the remote town of Verkhoyansk. Just a short distance away, this settlement in the Sakha Republic has its own claim to the Pole of Cold. It's a place of stark, brutal beauty. Here, temperatures have officially dipped to negative 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That is just a few degrees shy of Oymyakon's all-time low. For the people who live here, that difference is meaningless. This is absolute zero. Verkhoyansk is even smaller, even more isolated than its rival. It sits on the Yana River, a frozen highway in winter, surrounded by endless, flat tundra. This is a landscape that can break a person's spirit. It is an ocean of white, stretching to a horizon that never seems to get any closer. But here's the catch. Verkhoyansk is old. It was founded in the 17th century as a fort, and it quickly became a notorious place of Tsarist exile. Political prisoners were sent here to be forgotten, to be swallowed by the cold and the silence. Today, life here is a constant battle. But for the extreme tourist, it offers a different kind of prize. This town is one of the best places on Earth to witness the aurora borealis. During the long, crushing polar night, a time when the sun barely rises for months, the sky comes alive. This is not the gentle glow you might see in other parts of the world. This is a violent, celestial ballet. Massive curtains of green, purple, and red light twist and snap across the entire sky. What many overlooked is that this is a storm. It is the solar wind, a stream of particles from the sun slamming into our planet's magnetic field. The sky is quite literally exploding. Local guides offer expeditions out onto the frozen tundra, far from the town's few lights. There, you can stand in negative 40-degree air and watch the heavens tear themselves apart in a silent, beautiful war. It is an experience that is, to put it mildly, otherworldly. But survival isn't just about enduring the cold. It's about finding warmth in the most impossible places. We journey back to the Far East, to the Kamchatka Peninsula. This is a land of fire and ice, of active volcanoes and massive brown bears. It is one of the wildest, most untamed places on the planet. But it's also, surprisingly, a land of luxury. In the capital, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, you can find the Reston Hotel and Spa. This is not just a hotel, it is an outpost. It is a sanctuary of comfort perched on the edge of the wilderness. It offers stunning panoramic views of Avacha Bay, with the home volcanoes smoking in the distance. The real wow factor here is the spa. This region is a geothermal hotspot. The hotel draws its water from the region's natural hot springs. The experience is a study in contrast. You leave the warm hotel and step out into the frigid air. The snow crunches under your feet, but then you sink into the outdoor thermal pool. The water is 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The air is -4. Steam rises in thick clouds and snowflakes melt the instant they touch the water. It is a primal, deeply relaxing experience. You are soaking in the Earth's own heat, surrounded by the ice. But for a true thrill, Kamchatka offers an even older tradition. Before the helicopters, before the all-terrain vehicles, there was only one way to cross this land. We are talking about dog sledding. This is the traditional transport of the North, and the engine is the Siberian Husky. These are not just pets, they are elite endurance athletes. Their double coats can handle any temperature. Their piercing blue eyes are adapted to the glare of the snow, and they have one all-consuming passion: the need to run. This is a popular eco-tour. You stand on the back of the sledge, holding on as the team of 8 or 10 dogs explodes forward. The only sound is the crunch of the sledge's runners on the snow and the puffing of the dog's breath. You glide across frozen rivers and through silent, snow-covered forests. It is a connection to a way of life that is thousands of years old. You are not just observing the wilderness, you're becoming part of it. From the wild edge of the Pacific, the search for comfort continues in the very heart of the continent. Siberia is not all ice and tundra. The southern regions are a land of mountains, spirituality, and unique cultures. And here too, travelers can find remarkable places to stay. We travel to Ulan-Ude, the capital of Buryatia. This is the center of Russian Buddhism, a city where Asia and Russia collide. Here, the Geza Hotel stands out. This is not a generic global chain hotel. It is a cultural statement. The rooms are filled with Buryat-inspired decor. What does that mean? It means rich, colorful tapestries, intricate nomadic motifs carved into the wood, and a feeling of warmth and history. It's a comfortable modern base for exploring the city. From here, you are just a short drive from the Ivolginsky Datsun, the spiritual heart of Buddhism in the country. You are minutes away from that bizarre, 26-foot-tall bronze head of Lenin in the main square. It's a place that grounds you in the unique culture of the region. But for a truly unforgettable view, we must go to Lake Baikal. We travel to Olkhon Island, the Shaman Sea, the spiritual center of the lake. Here, perched on a cliff, is the Zvezda Hotel. Zvezda means star. The location is, to put it mildly, a wow factor. The hotel is designed with massive panoramic windows. You wake up in the morning, and the first thing you see is the lake. Not just a piece of it, all of it. The vast, blue, ancient water stretching to the horizon. In winter, it's a field of fractured turquoise ice. This is the new Siberia. It is raw, untamed nature, but with a price tag. It is total isolation, but with high-speed internet and a comfortable bed. It's a place to feel the power of Shaman's Rock, but to return to a hot meal. Further west, we reach the Altai Mountains. This is Siberia's Yosemite. The gateway city is Abakan. And here, the Hotel Chalpan provides a vital service. It is a cozy, modern base camp. This is where you start your journey. The Altai is not a place you just drive into. You need a plan. The hotel provides that. Modern amenities, comfortable rooms, and most importantly, access. They offer guided tours deep into the mountains, to the stone mushrooms of Akurum, to the geyser lake, and for hikes toward the sacred shining peak of Baluka Mountain. It is the last point of comfort before you step into the world of the gods. But for the true adventurer, the wild parks themselves are the destination, even in the depths of winter. We have seen the Altai's summer. But in winter, these southern parks transform. We return to Ergaki Park. In the summer, it's a land of granite peaks and hikers. In the winter, it is a silent kingdom. This is a wonderland for snowshoeing. The snow here is not wet and heavy. It is dry, powdery, champagne powder, and it is feet deep. The park is totally, utterly silent. The only sound is the soft crunch-crunch of your snowshoes on the fresh snow. The trees become snow ghosts. They are covered in thick, crystalline hoarfrost. The hanging stone is draped in a massive cornice of snow, making it look even more precarious. This is not a thrill-seeking adventure. This is a peaceful escape. It is a form of meditation. The air is so cold and so clean that it almost hurts to take a deep breath. You can feel the cold in your lungs. It is a deep, profound, and beautiful isolation. The nature here is a masterpiece of ice. But the cities of Siberia have their own man-made frozen art. We travel north to the city of Tomsk. This is one of the oldest cities in Siberia. It's a major university town, and it has a vibrant, youthful energy. But the reason you come to Tomsk is for the architecture. We are talking about wooden lace. This is a wow factor you will not see anywhere else. In the 19th century, Tomsk was a boom town for merchants. They grew rich on gold, fur, and tea, and they wanted to show off. They built magnificent two-story wooden houses. But these are not simple log cabins. These are fantasies. They are covered from foundation to roof in the most intricate, gingerbread-like wooden carvings. Every window frame, every door, every roof eave is a swirl of complex, beautiful art. This style is known as Siberian Baroque. Today, the city is a living museum. You can walk the streets and see these houses, some perfectly preserved, others slowly decaying. They are a glimpse into a wealthy, flamboyant pre-Soviet past, a past that was preserved miraculously in wood. From the old world's art, we jump to the modern world's urban curiosities. We arrive in Novosibirsk. This is Siberia's biggest city, its capital. It is a massive, sprawling industrial and scientific hub of 1.6 million people. and it has some very strange attractions. The first is the Novosibirsk Zoo. This is one of the largest in the world. It covers over 150 acres and is home to over 11,000 animals from 770 different species. But the real focus here is on Siberian and Arctic wildlife. This is a world-renowned conservation center. They have a massive, successful breeding program for the Amur tiger. They have one of the best polar bear exhibits on Earth. And then there is the wow factor. The zoo is world famous for its ligers. This is a hybrid, a cross between a male lion and a female tigress. The result is a massive cat, bigger than either parent, with the faint stripes of a tiger and the tawny color of a lion. The most famous, Zeta, gave birth to the first ever liliger, a cross between a lion and a liger. These are zoo-born oddities, genetic curiosities that you cannot see in the wild, and they draw massive crowds. The zoo is a must-see, but it isn't the only strange park in the city. For a completely different and very bizarre experience, there is the Wonder Park Galileo. This is the opposite of the ancient taiga. It is modern, quirky, and man-made. It's an interactive science museum, but it's more like a carnival funhouse. It is designed to trick your senses. There are rooms of optical illusions, rooms where the floor is tilted, making you feel like a giant, rooms where the floor is the ceiling. There is a massive, disorienting maze of mirrors. It is a surreal, confusing, and hilarious experience. It's a wow factor of a different, more modern kind. It shows the new, playful side of Siberia, a land that is not just about its past, but also about its future. But the strangest, most unique cultures are found far from the big cities in the remote heart of Asia. We travel south to the most remote, mysterious, and culturally unique part of Siberia. This is the Republic of Tuva. This is a land of vast, empty steppes. It's a land of mountains, nomads, and horses. This is the world of Genghis Khan, a place that feels more like Mongolia than Russia. But the thing Tuva is most famous for is a sound. We're talking about Tuvan throat singing. It is, to put it mildly, mesmerizing. It's a UNESCO-recognized art form, but it's not singing as we know it. It is a harmonic art. A single person uses their vocal cords to produce 2, 3, or even 4 distinct notes at the exact same time. There is a deep, guttural drone, and high above it, a whistling, flute-like melody. The singers say they are imitating the sounds of the natural world. The wind on the steppe, the water in the river, the call of a bird. It is a haunting, powerful, and deeply spiritual sound. The capital, Kyzyl, is a strange and dusty city. It claims to be the exact geographical center of the Asian continent. There is a tall, golden obelisk on the riverbank to prove it. But this is also a hub for shamanism. This is not a tourist show. This is a living, breathing faith. You can visit shamanic clinics where locals go for healing. Visitors can arrange to see real rituals or stay in a yurt, the traditional round nomadic tent, on the steppe. It is a true immersion into an ancient world. This is the heart of Asia. But on the far eastern border, Asia looks very, very different. We travel to the city of Blagoveshchensk. It sits on the bank of the massive Amur River, and this river is the border. On the other side, just half a mile away, is China. The city on the other side is Haihe, and the contrast is insane. On the Russian side, in Blagoveshchensk, you see beautiful Tsarist-era architecture. You see 19th century brick buildings and golden domed cathedrals. It is a classic, slow-paced Russian city. On the Chinese side, in Haihe, you see a futuristic gleaming skyline, massive skyscrapers, neon-lit towers, and a dizzying display of modern economic power. You can take a boat tour on the Amur River. You float between these two worlds. It is a tale of two cities, two continents, two political systems, two universes. Staring at each other across a narrow strip of water. It is a wow factor of geopolitics, a place where you can see the past and the future at the exact same time. This blend of cultures, of Russian and Asian, is found everywhere in Siberia, especially in its food. Siberian cuisine is not delicate, it is not fancy, it is cuisine born of necessity. It is about survival, calories, and warmth. It is hearty, simple, and to put it mildly, intense. The ultimate prizes come from the taiga. This is the hunter's feast. We are talking about venison from wild deer, and, for the truly bold, bear paws. This is a rare, almost mythical dish. It is slow-cooked, stewed for hours until the meat is dark, rich, and falling apart. It has a deep, wild, gamey flavor that embodies the spirit of the region. But for daily life, the food is about comfort. Soups are essential. Rasolnik is a classic. It's a tangy, sour soup, and its secret ingredient is pickles and pickle brine. The saltiness and sourness cut through the cold and the heavy, fatty foods. Gribnitsa is a creamy, rich mushroom soup. These aren't farmed mushrooms. These are wild mushrooms foraged from the forest's bounty. In Buryatia, the Mongolic influence is king, and the king of all dishes is the buza. These are large, steamed dumplings, a relative of the Mongolian buz or the Tibetan momo. They are filled with minced meat, usually beef or mutton, and onions. But here's the catch. You do not eat them with a fork. You pick them up with your hands. You bite a small hole in the side, and you drink the hot, savory broth that is trapped inside. It is a juicy, comforting, and delicious explosion of flavor. The land also provides strange and wonderful specialties. The wow factor of the garden is the Minusinsk tomato. From the Krasnoyarsk region, these are plump, massive, flavorful heirloom tomatoes. They are so prized, the town holds a festival for them every year. In the Altai, the nomadic snack is kurut. This is a hard, salty, dried cheese, often made from yak or cow milk. It's rolled into small, hard balls. It lasts forever, and it's the perfect, high-energy food for long journeys on horseback. The taiga also gives flour. Bird cherry flour is ground from dried wild cherries. It has a unique, nutty, almond-like flavor. It's used to bake pies and pancakes, turning them a deep, dark purple. And finally, the simplest snack of the north, shanga. These are fluffy, round yeast buns. They are simple, but they are topped with rich, thick, sour cream or mashed potatoes. They are a simple, addictive, and perfect food for the frozen land. This is a land of cold, fire, and flavor, a land of endless mystery. Is humanity's hunger for resources worth unleashing the secrets frozen in the permafrost? Let us know your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys to the world's most extreme places.